Welcome in, welcome in. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479 from 1 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. We got a big show today as we're going to continue on with our Hog Eye segment. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, as this would not be possible without those guys. Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, lastly, KDK's Chicken down at 989 South Razorback Road. Meet me there, beat me there. Go see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love and like us on their buildings, not your mama's. We at this, those best chicken and waffles in the South. But want to come in as today it was announced the Arkansas men's and the Oklahoma men's basketball program have decided and agreed upon a 4-game series beginning next year at the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I want to go over here real quick to my producer and get his thoughts on it, because I think this is going to be something that may become a very, very spirited rivalry between these two schools.
You know, I think this rivalry is supposed to be what the Battle Line rivalry is supposed to be more like. But I think, you know, just with the history of the coaches, you know, coaches from the former Oklahoma staff now on Coach Musselman's staff, I think it'll add an excitement. I think, you know, with the history of the SWAC, right, Southwestern Conference, I think it'll reignite some old memories with former Razorbacks and fans. So I think it'll be great for both universities. Right,
and with the fact that both teams, coaching staffs recruit a lot of the same athletes, as Oklahoma, you know, is trying to keep all their players like Trey Alexander and those types of players in the state of Arkansas, with Coach Crutchfield being a former assistant, as my co-host noted, at Oklahoma. He's going to try to still get back in that state. So I anticipate this to be a very, very heated rivalry in years to come, not only on the court, but in the recruiting battlegrounds for Lon Kruger and Coach Eric Musselman going forward. But we got a big show because we got to get ready. We said we're going to continue on with the Hall guys, as for several weeks we try to bring it to you the way this staff at the Arkansas, either men, women, basketball, or football, are starting to do. And we're going to continue on the football side as Coach Sam Pittman, we keep telling you, he said he wanted to make an impact in the 2022 class. So we're going to start off first in that class by heading to Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian High School, where we're going to talk to offensive tackle in the 2022 class, a major prospect, Zach Rice. Got a lot of good things to talk about. The conversation with Brad Davis quite interesting. I think you'll be interested as well once he shares that with you on. Then we're going to head to California, Antioch, California, where we're going to get up with big-time 2021 defensive end prospect Jailen Weaver. We'll find out what the big DN has to say about Arkansas, and then we'll follow up by heading all the way from one state all the way across to another hotbed of high school football, the state of Texas, down in San Antonio, where we're going to catch up with 2021 quarterback prospect Lucas Coley of Cornerstone Christian High School there in San Antonio. We'll get all his thoughts, but let's get it going. Time to get a break, and then we'll be back. It's the Hall Guys here on OTH on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Going pretty fast recruiting wise, and now we're starting to get into some ball and getting things started. But I'm excited. Off the field is great, man. Great community, great people. Everybody want to help you out. They can't help you on lead you in the right, point you in the right direction. So I'm excited about what the future holds.
What went into you taking this job? I know you had a prior relationship with Coach Pittman, but how excited are you to be able to be the running back coach for such a highly respected coach as Sam Pittman is?
I'm super excited, man. When he called me about the opportunity, I was excited. We was getting ready for some things at Georgia State, and it was like a dream come true at the time. But now it's settled down, and now I got some things I got to do.
State of Georgia, you're highly respected in that state. Just 2 years ago, you were a high school football coach at probably the best program in that state. You know, talk about, you know, how much of a whirlwind it's been that just 2 years ago you're a high school coach, and now running back coach in a Power 5 conference and what I consider the best SEC West.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a good one. If it's I think it's a good storm, it's been a good storm. The process has been, like I say, fast, but I'm enjoying it every moment of it. I'm one of those guys, like I said, I like the grind. Work never bothers me. I'm never satisfied with good. So I'm excited. I just love the whole thing, all of it, recruiting, coaching, all of it. I just love it.
You put a social media video out talking about if you're a baller, you're coming to get them. Explain that message that you wanted all prospective recruits, in particular the state of Georgia, to understand about where you were going to try to take Arkansas.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that I'm gonna find you. Don't worry about it. Just do your job. Play football. Play for your team. You got to put all that stuff out about I'm underrated and play ball. And if you can play ball, I'm gonna find you. And I'm coming to get you.
How's your ties in Atlanta area? You know quite a lot of people, I'm pretty sure. Being in administration, but talk about I see you guys signed 4 kids out of the state of Georgia so far. Is that something that you plan on going back each and every year? And if we can get 4, let's try to get 5. I mean, is Georgia going to be somewhere that you really try to make an impact in?
Yes, it is. I think the biggest thing is about need. A lot of good football players in Georgia. So all according to need and if they fit what we can do. But between 4 to 6 kids, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on need. But I'm definitely going to try to go in Georgia and get some kids out of there.
Talking about your room, Rakeem Boyd probably was the biggest recruiting coup you guys had with him, saying he'll be back for his senior year. But talk about those group of guys and what's been your message in that room that you want them to start buying into?
The biggest thing is everybody can eat. I have a thing I always tell the guys, we don't get full. we eat all day. Like when you're playing ball and when you're playing running back, everybody can eat. Everybody can eat. Now you have a guy who you think that's gonna get the majority of the carries, but everybody can get some. Everybody can get some. Everybody can eat. You just want to have fun and enjoy seeing somebody that's big successful sometimes. And your blessings will come your way if you do that.
Welcome in. We're back at the On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio as we are coming to you live from KDSJ 479 in Arkansas, and Coach Sam Pittman really trying to get their brand out. And in particular class, the 2022 class is going to be a high priority. And so Arkansas made an offer all the way out in Lynchburg, Virginia at Liberty Christian High School as we're going to bring in the big fella, 2022 offensive tackle prospect, Zach Rice. Zach, welcome on the Hill, my man.
Yes, sir.
Zach, talk about this recruiting process heading into your junior season. Quite an offer list you have early, but I want to talk in particular about the Arkansas Razorbacks. Talk about that, how that's going with you and Coach Brad Davis.
The offers and stuff I have is truly a blessing, and with it, I believe it's like weight on my back, so I have to work even harder. But Coach Davis is such a good offer. Like I said, we had a 25-minute conversation when he first offered me, and he was just like not a car salesman at all, and didn't tell me like, "Oh, you're such a good player." He told me that if I come here, I'm gonna have to work, but he believes he can develop me the best, and that's what I like and that's why I communicate with him, because that's what I need. As an honest coach.
Talk about the other schools right now, Big Zach, that are showing you high priority so early in your junior season.
Last week I was very blessed to get 7 offers. So I got Michigan State. Then the next day I got LSU in Georgia. Then the day right after that I got Ohio State, Michigan, and then I got Arizona State that night. So I've been very, very blessed. And
now, when you sat down after watching your sophomore season with your offensive line coach, your offensive coaches in general, Zach, what were some of the things you felt real good about? And then what were the notes that you made as an offensive lineman that you were wanting to work on in the offseason to help have an even better junior year?
Yes, sir. When you look at it during the season, you're like, okay, like it looks good. But like after the season, it's like, I don't know, you see stuff that you want to work on. So like after, so like during the season, I was kind of hyping stuff, throwing people and stuff. I just feel like I was really aggressive, good footwork, like taking over blocks. I didn't need a double team with anybody. I could handle anybody. But like after the season, I saw that I need to polish everything back up, and there was like a couple of plays and stuff like I could have finished people. Like I said yesterday, I definitely go through the whistle, get my warning by the refs.
That's a great thing to get a warning by the ref. I know Coach Pittman and Coach Davis would like those type of offensive, or any offensive line coach at any university would like that, his player to have that mentality. But when you think about it, Zach, you're not able to go through spring ball due to this COVID pandemic that has really shut down all athletics. You can't get into your gyms. How does Zach Rice get his workouts in on a daily basis?
So our weight room was still open, but it just got closed. But, I have friends and stuff that have weight rooms, so I'm still getting work in, trust me. And I realize if I take a day off, somebody's going to get better. So I'm doing everything I can in my power to get lifts in and run and stuff.
Zach, where were some of the places that you had initially planned before this COVID situation broke out to possibly going into your junior, take a couple of unofficial visits? And also, too, the second part of that question, when we get back to normal life, who are going to be some of those schools that maybe didn't get a chance to make it that you want to plan on getting out to?
So right before COVID broke out, I went to Clemson, and so that was a really good visit. But I was planning on going to Penn State and maybe go to like Pitt, that's right beside it,
right,
all in like one time with West Virginia. Just like do runs like that, like University of Florida, then like Miami, like runs like that, just like get them all over with. So my recruit.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My recruiting took a big turning. It's like 5 offers, like before. Like 5 offers, I would say, like a month ago, or 5 offers 2 months ago, I would say. So right. I've gotten 15 offers, and
I'm telling you, Zach, all 15 are well, much deserved for your athletic ability. But I want to talk to you about being in the state of Virginia, there in Lynchburg. I mean, in between Vatech and Virginia, is there any type of in-state pressure locally to attend one of those schools, or is it the White family going to make the best decision for Zach when that time comes?
This really doesn't matter, but then again, coming from, like just a mountain, I'm living on a mountain, I want something different. So, mountains are okay, but like, I'm definitely like, I want to explore my choices,
Right.
See what's out there.
Zach, who are some of the NFL or collegiate offensive tackles, or just offensive linemen in general, that you like to study and maybe do some of the things that they do on the weekends when you take the field?
So I've been following a lot of offensive line training and stuff, and I've been doing a lot of UVA workouts, so University of Virginia. So I've been doing a lot of medicine ball stuff, just stuff I found. I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff, trying to find workouts, lifting stuff that the schools do. I'm just trying to get ready for like the realistic life, because I realize I might be a good football player, but it's a whole different level in the college lane. It doesn't matter about rankings anymore.
Talking with Zach Rice out of Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian High School, big-time 2022 offensive line prospect for Coach Brad Davis and that entire Arkansas offensive staff. I want to talk to you really quickly about the fact with Coach Pittman being a former offensive line coach, now the head coach, brings Brad Davis, a young man who he coached at Oklahoma. If you had a chance to see the draft 2 weeks ago and saw the 2 offensive linemen taken in the draft that were, Georgia guys, but Pittman guys more so. How much of a factor will that play in with the SEC and a head coach that's been an offensive line coach place such an emphasis on the line of scrimmage going forward for you, Zach?
I thought it was like really like they know how to develop players, and what Coach said is he believes that he can develop me out of all players. And one thing that really stuck with me that Coach Davis said is, when Coach Davis played at Oklahoma, Pittman was his coach. So, like, he was just like saying stuff like, it's really family oriented because now, you know, he's coaching with them. So it's like, okay, you know, they stay together and that's just like what's up. So.
Now, when I come to Lynchburg, at Liberty Christian High School in Virginia, I got my Coke, my popcorn. For 4 quarters, when that ball is kicked off, what type of football player will I see in Big Zach Rice?
I'm a really good leader. I'm pretty vocal. I get really into Jailen. We make plays and stuff. I'm not just a mauler. Like, you just gonna see me out there throwing people. I mean, you just gonna see like favoritism to my side, I guess. I mean, like, you can always run to my side, you know.
I like that, big man. I knew I'd like to run behind you from the film that I had a chance to watch. But let's have a little fun now. We're riding around Lynchburg. Just me and Big Zach Rice in his vehicle. I'm the OG in the car. I'm needing to know. I want to know some new songs. Zach, what's the first 5 songs in Club Zach Rice that I'm going to be played by you on your playlist?
Humble by Lil Baby, All Nash by NBA Youngboy, We Paid by Lil Baby, Red Light by T Grizzly, and Big by Young Ma.
So you had that. See, that's what happens when we talked yesterday and you had a chance. I know you put a lot of time in that list, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Now, last question, Big Zach, and I want to thank you for taking time out here with me and Demetrius here on TH. But when football is all said and done for Zach Rice of Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian High School, and he's put up his shoes and the shoulder pads, Zach Rice plans to be doing what with his life after football?
I plan on being an athletic director and helping people that like had the same problem as me being underdeveloped as when I was younger. So me being underdeveloped, and you know, I was always big, so I needed somebody to develop me. And I don't know, just the way I'm working right now, and I see how much hard work it takes. And I'm seeing like, okay, how this pays off if I can just get other people with the same mindset,
right?
Or just show them that, you know, like, you can do this. Like, I don't know, it's just different.
Well, Zach, my man, hey, let's not make this the last time that you're on our show. Our line is your line. Our show is your show. So throughout the season, let's see if we can get a Zach Rice update, maybe once or twice a month. You down for that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, my man, thanks for taking time out today, Zach, and you have a blessed one. And, hey, you have a very, very outstanding junior season, big fella.
Thank you so much.
All right. That was Big Zach Rice out of Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian High School, the 2022 offensive tackle prospect. Demetrius, I'd say he and Coach Davis are building quite the relationship.
And I'm telling you, if I would have had Big Fella when I was in high school, I would have been 2K.
Did you see that one block he put on that kid?
Yes, sir. Ran him all the way down to the end zone. you thought you would have thought he had the ball running.
Hey, they always say play to the whistle, and Big Zach does just that. But we got another big fella, because you know the offensive line and just the SEC, the lines of scrimmage, it means a little bit more. We keep telling you. And Coach Pittman and Coach Derek LeBlanc, they seem to say the same thing. So when we come up next, we'll head out to Antioch, California to talk to big man Jailen Weaver. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a moment. Derek LeBlanc, Coach LeBlanc, welcome to OTA. Thanks for having me. Talk about it. How has it been? First couple of weeks on the job. I know you guys hit the ground running, had to put together a class in a very short amount of time. But how has the transition gone?
Man, fast. I mean, it's a little more difficult now with the early signing day when you're a new staff and you have to go in. Back in the day you could fight till February and battle for some guys, but now I think Coach Pittman got hired a couple of days before early signing. I think he did a great job of getting started and getting guys in the boat really early. And then the momentum through January to now, I think it's been pretty good considering the circumstances.
We had a mutual friend, Coach Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Coach with that.
Right.
Yeah, I called Mike when I heard that you possibly be the coach. Mm-hmm. What were some of the things that Coach Smith explained to you about working here and coaching at the University of Arkansas?
Well, I think everything that's shown itself to be true. Like, he said it was a great place, which we knew it was. He loved this place here. A lot of good people here. He had a lot of friends here. He talked about the facilities and the ability to recruit to this place. that I think he had a little bit of success himself getting kids to come here. So everything he had to say was through the roof.
When you go out and recruit, and like I said, you had a short amount of time, what was the message that you guys, as a staff, tried to get across to prospective recruits? Just, because you guys didn't have a lot of time.
Right. Well, convince the kids that we can win here. And it's been proven that we've won here before. And getting kids to believe that we can win and compete in the SEC West here at Arkansas and the resources that we have for them. I think here, you look around through these windows, this place is really second to none when it comes to what's available for the student athlete. And I think that was the message that was sent to the kids and to the parents.
You got here, sat down with Coach Odom and staff. What made you want to be a part of this defensive staff at the University of Arkansas?
I think it starts with good people. I know it sounds cliche, but it starts with good people. Start with the head coach. I got a chance to go and coach against Coach Pittman and coach against Coach Odom and saw the things that they were doing individually with their respective teams. And then really a good friend of mine is Brad Davis, who I trust with everything, man. So there's a couple of things that came together that just made me want to be a part of it.
Coach Pittman said
that him and Barry Odom were sitting around the table talking and said, "Hey, you want to go after the Kentucky guy?" Is that how they explained the story to you?
That's what they said to me. But I just know I got the phone call, man, and I was ecstatic to get that call and wanted to be a part of it, and I'm happy I'm here.
When you look at the SEC, we always know from as it's a line of scrimmage league.
Yes.
What is it that's so different from the line of scrimmage play than any other conference, in your opinion, Derek?
Well, everybody's big and physical. I think everybody recruits big and physical. This league is known as a team that if you're going to win a championship, you got to be able to run the football. And I know what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see a lot of points scored. Everybody wants to see a lot of the excitement in the stands. But at the end of the day,
Welcome back to our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. And we're going to continue on with our Hog Eye segment, as it's all about the Jimmies and the Joes in the SEC, because it just means more on that line of scrimmage. And right before we came in, we let you hear audio of a sit-down we had with new defensive line coach Jared LeBlanc here at the University of Arkansas. But he's really interested in our next guest as we head out to Antioch, California to bring on big-time 2021 defensive end prospect from Antioch High School, Jailen Weaver. J-Dub, welcome to OTH.
How you doing?
Talk about it, Jailen. Big-time recruiting going on heading into your senior year. Arkansas comes in with an offer about a week and a half ago. Talk about, that conversation and what it meant to get an offer from an SEC school such as Arkansas.
I was excited. It kind of came like I was surprised because I didn't really know they were looking at me. So yeah, I was like, I got Arkansas posters all over my wall and stuff. I always liked Arkansas. I didn't really know they had any interest in me.
When you look at the SEC, how advantageous would that be to play in the conference? And in particular, Jailen, the SEC West, whom some consider on the national stage to be the toughest division in all of college football. How much of a factor going into your senior year do you take that into consideration?
To be honest, I don't really look at what's the toughest division. I look at what's going to be the best school for me,
right. You have a very, very laid-back demeanor, Jailen. Where does that come from? Because I've noticed it's totally different on the football field. Talk about how you're able to flip that switch, from being okay to, hey, now it's time to get it.
Off the football field, I just try to chill. I'm not really a real rowdy person unless I have to be. But on the football field, as soon as I hit the grass, it's just a switch that gets flipped on. I don't really know how to explain it. It's different. It's not really you can't have a conversation with me like this on the football field.
I like that, big fella. How are you able to get your workouts in, Jailen, with the pandemic, the COVID situation? You're shutting down your last spring senior football practice season. How are you able to stay in shape so when the time comes and we get back on the grass, you'll be ready?
Well, I work out every day. I have a big park down the hill from my house, has a volleyball sand pit I work in. My teammate, He has a gym inside of his garage, so I work out with him, lift some weights, stuff like that. There's always ways around stuff.
What are you going to be looking for, and what are you planning on majoring in, of your school of choice that's going to put one school over all others, Jailen?
African American Studies.
That's pretty good. I like that, young man. Now, all right, do you have a certain timetable, or is it a plan to graduate early, Jailen, or is that still you're still planning on signing that first Wednesday in February? How do you think that's going to play out?
I've actually had that conversation with one of my coaches yesterday. I could be on the track to graduate early and be gone by December, but I'm not sure if I'm going to take that route yet. It's still a decision I have to make.
A lot of kids, have really good support systems. I can take it that you're no different. Talk about that family home with with your parents, and how big it is to have those such supportive parents in your corner.
Well, I live with my mother. She's always been my main supporter. Single mom, raised everybody, her family, grandkids, everybody's 15 people in my house. So and I got a real strong mentor. Helps me out, school, football, any way he can. So if I didn't have that, I'd kind of be lost.
Right. Who are some? And I know you told me before we got on the air, Jailen, that you don't watch collegiate or NFL football. So where does this talent come from, Jailen?
I don't really. I couldn't really tell you that. Working.
Now, I was joking with you. The ball on the 2, my man. It's on the goal line. I'm running the sweep to your side. Will I make it? And if I don't, why won't I make it?
I'll be in the backfield before your quarterback can give you the ball.
You seem to have a great playmaking ability. So when I come to the stadium there at Antioch High School out there in California, I got my popcorn, I got a drink, I'm at the top bleacher. What type of football player will I see in Jailen Weaver for 4 quarters when that ball is kicked off?
You're going to be like, this is a man amongst children.
I like that, big fella. I like that. Now, let's have a little fun. I don't know if you got your list ready, but riding around Antioch, California with this nice sunny day, we're in Club J. Weaver. What's the first 5 songs on the playlist, big fella, that you go play the OG?
Okay, the first one, top of my list, is Mac Dre, Feeling Myself. Second one is Tupac, Ambitious as a Rider. Third, Lil B, Down to Ride.
I'm feeling you.
Fourth is Yada. It's called Bag Right.
Okay.
And then it's a tough one.
Yeah, that 5th one's tough, ain't it?
I listen to so much music. Like that's my whole day's music.
Well, if you decide you have that 5th one, you can call us anytime. But I'm going to ask you a question, and Jailen, once again, I want to thank you for taking time out here. But I want you to finish this statement for me. When football is done with, for Jailen Weaver of Antioch, California, Antioch High School, when it's all said and done, you've played your high school, collegiate, and hopefully on down the road you get a chance to play professional football. When all that's said and done, what will Jailen Weaver be doing with the second part of his life after football?
Investing in business. I'm having my own group home for underprivileged black males.
I like that, Jailen. I like that. Well, my man, hey, let's not make this our last conversation. Let's continue to keep in touch. Our show is your show. Our line is your line. Feel free to join us anytime. And if you have any updates, you want to commit to Arkansas, you know what show you can do it on, right?
Okay.
All right. Well, Jailen, have a blessed one, my man. Good luck on your senior year, and thanks for taking time out here on OTH today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh. Big Jailen Weaver of Antioch, California, Antioch High School, the 2021 defensive end prospect, 6'7", 285 pounds, Demetrius. Tell me what you saw with that young man.
A monster. He was everywhere. Couldn't be blocked, couldn't be stopped. Just a guy very aggressive. And I think that's a true statement, Pat. I don't know if you would have got that ball on that sweep, man.
Man, I would have got it, man.
You would have got it.
I would have got
What's
it.
What's your 40 time?
Low center of gravity. I would have tried to get up under his knee with my height and how big he is. I would have stayed low.
What you running your 40 time in?
As fast as I had to if I saw him. I mean, I got to take a couple extra steps. No tippy to him with that big fella. But we're going to continue on. We got to gas up. We got to get all the way down to the Lone Star State, San Antonio, that is, at Cornerstone Christian, where we're going to catch up with 2021 quarterback prospect. This guy's a major priority for not only Arkansas but everybody. But we're going to let him tell you what he feels about the Razorbacks. Lucas Coley, he's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
And it starts with the big guys up front.
Your particular philosophy on the defensive line, I had a chance to watch your group at Kentucky.
Right.
Those are some dudes.
Right.
What will be the philosophy that you imprint on your guys?
I think getting guys to understand what their role is. Everybody sees the flashy highlights of D-line play. Everybody wants the sacks. Everybody wants the TFLs. But those are so far between. You know what I mean? They don't happen often.
Right.
But just understanding your role as a big guy, that your job is to disrupt the line of scrimmage and protect the fast guys behind you and allow those guys to play, but still have the ability to make plays within the scheme of the defense.
What is Derek LeBlanc looking for when he goes out and recruits defensive linemen to the University of Arkansas? What's the one thing that you look for above all else?
Physical. Guys that are physical, guys that love to play football. Soft doesn't belong in this conference. Soft doesn't belong in football. And I think, where our sport's getting attacked with all the stuff and you can't tackle anymore, you can't do that. Within the line of scrimmage, those rules don't even affect us, where you have to be physical from tackle to tackle, and we have to have guys that are physical in order to win this league.
Speaking of that, what have you seen from some of the guys that you have? I know everybody gets a clean slate, but what have you seen from the guys you're inheriting? There's a lot of young guys that came in just last year.
You know what, it's interesting because I have a strength and conditioning background, so watching them work out and watching them train, maybe unlike a lot of the other coaches, I have an idea of who those guys are, and I'm always in there observing. And it's just how they attack the workouts, body language, and their strength as well. Strength and speed matter, but how do you show up in that work? Because nobody wants to really practice, right? Nobody wants to work out. Everybody wants to play. But how those guys attack and how they perform in the weight room is a direct correlation to how they're going to play on the football field as defensive linemen. So, so far so good. They're learning. Coach Walker's doing a great job with those guys. They hadn't done a whole lot since November, so they're kind of getting into a conditioning mode. But for the most part, all those kids are working hard, and I think they're ready to.
Welcome back. It's our Wednesday edition of OTH here on KDSJ 479 as we come to you each and every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And our last guest in our Hall Guys segment is one that a lot of people around the country are hoping this young man calls home their institution. And Arkansas is no different, as we're going to bring in Cornerstone Christian's 2021 quarterback prospect and someone Kendall Browse covets very highly, Lucas Coley. LC, welcome to OTH.
Hey, yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Lucas, recruiting, it just seems every other day as we follow each other throughout social media. I mean, you are a young man that you're going to have a lot of options. Talk about Arkansas. I know you visited back several months ago before the COVID pandemic hit. What was it about Arkansas that has your interest? And also, too, who are the other schools really that are going to make this decision really complicated going forward?
Oh, man. Arkansas is just, it's a special place. I went up there to visit last June and with the old staff, and I just, I fell in love with the fans. Everywhere I look, it's Woo Pig or it's an Arkansas license plate or something of that nature. I mean, it's truly amazing. And, another thing I like is, the interaction just even on social media. It's insane. So I can only imagine on a college game day. And, that's one thing I really like a lot. And, the facilities are amazing. Stadium's amazing. The town of Fayetteville is just special. And, that's one thing I like. And as far as other schools go, I'm not really ready to kind of drop a list of, the top schools. But there's a few others in contention that I really enjoy as well.
Right.
So.
Now, you just got a recent offer from Virginia Tech. Who are some of the offers that you've received here over the last few weeks?
Last few weeks, yes, sir. I would say Arkansas, Washington State, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, UNLV. Those are pretty much some of the ones over the last few weeks. Yes, sir.
I want you to talk about the relationship that you've had. You're starting to build with Kendall Briles, as you just spoke to him not too long ago, right before we came on the air. What was that conversation like? And just expand on that, how that relationship has developed.
Man, me and Coach Briles, we talk every single day. We talk about the future of the program, other recruits that we could bring in, and I just have a great relationship with him and Coach Pittman. Now,
I know you had a fabulous junior year. When you sat down and watched film with your offensive coordinator and your offensive staff, what were some of the things, Luke, that you felt good about? And then what are those notes that you made that you're trying to work on so that you can have a very successful senior year?
Man, overall, I don't like the way I played my junior year. I mean, I had a big jump, but I really think that there's a lot to work on and a lot to know about the game. And one thing, a few things that I just want to work on is I want to perfect the mental aspect of the game. I want to know the ins and outs of every coverage, every front, every rotation with the safeties. I just want to know it all because that's making that muscle memory. So on the field, you're not thinking. It's special, and that's one thing. And another thing I kind of want to work on is, as far as technique-wise, I have a bad habit of kind of locking the knee when I step to throw. So just kind of maintaining a slight bend in that is one thing that I'm looking forward to fixing. And really, I'm just excited to go out there and compete with my brothers this last year and do something special.
Luke, you weren't able to go through spring football, your last spring of high school football, your senior year. I don't know if your high school gym has been reopened, but how do you continue, LC, to get those workouts in so that when we get back to normal life and you guys are able to get back on the field, you'll be ready?
Man, no doubt. I've been getting my guys together from my school two times a week, and then we have a lot of D1 athletes that are back home down in San Antonio, and I throw with them 2 other times a week. So I'm throwing every day. I have a weight set at my house that I've been using pretty frequently. I mean, once or twice a day with just that. And, another thing that's been really big is, the film aspect and just perfecting, like I said, the mental aspect of the game. And I'm just trying to soak it all in because, pretty soon I'll be on someone's college campus.
Talking with Lucas Coley of Cornerstone Christian Academy out of San Antonio, Texas, the 2021 quarterback prospect, a high priority for Kendall Briles and the University of Arkansas. Who are the NFL or collegiate guys that you like to study? LC?
Yes, sir. There's a few, and that just goes. I don't have one guy kind of mold my game around. I kind of want to be my own person, but as far as someone carrying themselves and the kind of swag that they bring to the team, I'd say Lamar Jackson is one of them. Russell Wilson would be a guy that I like his leadership and how he takes initiative with his team in the huddle, on the field, in the locker room, just kind of what I've seen from him and heard from people that have played with him. That's another guy. Drew Brees as far as mechanics goes and, ultimately production. And another one is Tom Brady as far as winning and, making it the standard, and that's what I plan on doing wherever I go.
Lucas, being right down there in San Antonio, you're not too far from Longhorn country there in Austin, and probably about 30 or 45 minutes up the road, but still yet also not too far from College Station. Is there any type of in-state pressure to stay and maybe attend one of the Power 4 institutions, or still the Coley family's going to do what's best for Lucas?
Now, I'm trying to do what's best for me. I mean, those schools, they haven't recruited me much, actually, to be 100% honest with you. But that just comes from the fact that they got, early commits. But, that I don't mind going out of state, and hopefully I see them at the next level.
Kind of got a chip on your shoulder. Where does that come from? Is that just something you've always played with feeling like, I'm never as good as I want to be? I mean, where does that come from within?
That comes from, I was just raised that way. My mom, she's never satisfied with anything. Everything, she wants perfect. And I just feel like I grew up that way. And I feel like it's kind of made me, work as hard as I do now because, she's busted her butt her whole life for me. And I just kind of want that to end. So, I'm trying to put her in a new house and, hopefully within a the next 10 years, that happens.
Now, when I come to Cornerstone Christian there in San Antonio, Texas, and I got my popcorn, and I might have some fruit punch, never know about me. What type of football player or quarterback should I say I'm going to get a chance to see in LC for 4 quarters when that ball's kicked off?
Oh, no doubt. 4 quarters, you're going to see, a level-headed guy who, picks up his teammates, but, I'm going to get in my guys' butts, and because, I expect the best out of them just as they should of me. You're going to see a leader. You're going to see someone who, I think I play pretty well, but you're going to see a guy who, can progress as the game goes on and, recognize tendencies and correct our offense and our mistakes off of those. So I just think you'll see a pretty good quarterback. Yes, sir.
Talking with Lucas Coley of San Antonio, Texas, Cornerstone Christian High School down there in San Antonio. Big-time 2021 quarterback prospect for Kendall Browse and the Arkansas Razorback coach Sam Pittman and that entire offensive staff. Now, let's have a little fun, my man. Riding around San Antonio, you and me. You got the OG in the car, LC.
Oh,
I need to know the first 5 songs on the playlist in Club LC. I'm going to hear. What are they, my man?
All right. Hey, I know you told me you're an old guy. Man, hopefully you like a little bit of Biggie. You like Biggie?
Oh, absolutely. I'm with it.
All right. So first, to kind of set the tone, we're going to get More Money, More Problems.
Okay.
You kind of got to set it that way. And then we're going to get a little deep. We're going to go with some Tupac, and we're going to go with some Ambitions as a writer.
I'm with it.
Yes, sir. And then we're gonna, after that one, you're gonna need to kind of balance it out. So you're gonna play some Ashton Martin music.
Okay.
And then you gotta spice it up a little bit. PIMP is next. Yes, sir. And then you're about to park the car, so you gotta kind of capitalize off the trip. So you gotta play a little Boosie. And play some Wipe Me Down and kind of finish it off that way.
Hey, I'm riding with you, LC, all day long. I can tell you grew up in an old school home. I bet you heard a lot of that stuff from your moms, especially Biggie, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Biggie, Tupac. I grew up blasting out before games at 8 years old.
I used to wear a headband thinking I was Tupac sometimes before headbands. I used to have this brown little bandana that always went around my head and because I was a big Tupac fan. But I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to finish this out for me, LC. When football is done with, for Lucas Coley of San Antonio, Texas, Lucas Coley will be doing what with his life after football?
Giving back. I've been helped a lot throughout my, childhood, and I kind of want to give back to my city, and, ultimately I want to be a coach, and I want to be the best coach, not only the best player to ever live, but, my goal is to be the best coach as well once playing is over. I feel like we have an opportunity to help a lot of people, and, that's something I've always been interested in.
Well, Luke, I really enjoyed this conversation. Let's not make this the last time that you're a guest on our show. Our line is your line. Our show is your show. So how about we do updates throughout the season with LC? You up for that?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, my man, congratulations. Good luck on your decision, and even more so, a blessed special season your senior year.
Gotcha. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for having me.
That was Lucas Coley of San Antonio, Texas. Cornerstone Christian Academy, the 2021 quarterback, has a lot of options. Here over the last few days, Clemson jumps in, Tennessee's jumped in, Virginia Tech just offered the young man. He talked to Kendall Browse earlier prior to coming on the show. Got a lot of options. What do you see? I see a lot of Russell Wilson in this young man.
Yeah, a lot of Russell Wilson, and with the footwork, I even go Lamar Jackson. There was a couple of plays where he definitely was in trouble, and he really made the play through his feet. But really, what I most like about the kid and the young man that I heard speak was just his leadership roles. He just seems like he holds himself to be so accountable and really takes responsibility for his actions. And you need that at the quarterback position. You want to hold guys accountable. You got to have that guy that can kind of hype everybody up to really do their part. So I think he could be a great fit at Arkansas.
And I think all these young men that we had on today, and just that we've had on throughout the weeks, that this Arkansas coaching staff, led by head coach Sam Pittman, have really made an impression on. These are kids that are difference makers. We'll continue to bring on more difference makers, but these guys, you're going to see a lot of these guys playing on Sundays, and they're going to make an impact at whatever Power 5 conference that these young men decide to play in. But Coach Pittman and that staff really have, and I've been really impressed by how they've been able to get Arkansas's brand. And Demetrius, this is a coaching staff coming in on basically 5 wins in the last 3 years, and not 16 consecutive, or I think it was 23 consecutive SEC losses. For them to be able to do what they're doing says a lot about the future under Sam Pittman and here at Arkansas.
Yeah, I think reputation is everything. I think when you look at each individual coach, they bring their own respective resume to the table, and I think when you look at these coaches, they do hold respect around the country. You look at Brad Davis, he's known as a top of the line head coach. You look at Sam Pittman, he's known as a top of the line head coach. What position coach do you know making $1 million before he was even a head coach?
You ain't kidding.
That's unheard of.
You ain't kidding.
The average salary for a position coach is $500,000.
But when you have 2 first-rounders at the tackle position, I guess you get that payroll. I guess you're earning what you get, but
don't forget to drop the special we got for the Fridays. We got to ask the viewers.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. If you had a chance, and I want my listeners tomorrow, I want y'all to flood in the questions. Let us know if there was one question, and if you were sitting in a room and you had a one-on-one and you had about 5 minutes with Hunter Yurachek, what would be the one question that you would like to ask the Arkansas AD? Send us those questions in, and just send them in. We want to see what you think. What would be the one question if you could sit down with HY? What would you ask him? What would be that one question?
And don't hesitate to email us those questions or drop them in our inbox. Something that we're working on coming in the upcoming near days. We want to do an interview, but we want to incorporate the fans. So if you have any questions after the show, and if we're not on or can't get a hold of us, please DM us, inbox us, and let us know, and we'll try to get your question in when we get the interview. Absolutely.
And now we're going to give a special thank you to our guests as we're going to close today's segment out of our Hall Guy segment here on the Hill. We're going to give a thank you to Zach Rice, the 2022 offensive tackle out of Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian High School. Great interview. He and Coach Davis are building quite the relationship there at Arkansas. I think Arkansas in the next year, keep an eye on Big Zach Rice. Also, too, Jailen Weaver, the young man out of Antioch, California, Antioch High School, the 2021 prospect. You see what Arkansas is doing. Coach Derek LeBlanc made an impression there. Kind of the way it goes, and then we're going to close it out with another impressionable young man, Lucas Coley of San Antonio, Texas, Cornerstone Christian, the 2021 quarterback. He has been very impressed with Kendall Browse and just Arkansas as a whole. Got to keep an eye on his decision. I think that's going to be a big one for whomever gets this young man. He's going to make some plays. Give a shout out to my producer, Demetrius Johnson. Also, too, we're going to say thank you to our sponsors, as this would not be possible without all the love they show us here each and every week, each and every day on GH. Lindsay & Associates with an office location in Fayetteville. An office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, that's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love. And like they say, it's not your mama's. I say it this way, it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet me there or beat me there. For my producer, to you all, continue to support. We'll be back tomorrow with much, much, much more. I think we got a little hooping we want to talk about as well. All that's coming up. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.
Team, God.